Good. Well, today is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, ship day for Friday the 4th. All right, let's go. Well, no setups tonight. Obviously, things have gone from bad to worse as far as the market is concerned. As I've been saying here and there, it just didn't really feel like we had a washout just yet. Today kind of feels like the beginning of the end. I'm not calling a bottom or anything, but this is kind of a washout type of move that you usually would see after at least a temporary type of low. Obviously, we banged out some IPTs in here. On something like TPR, I was talking earlier about this one in Facebook. When you have a big move really quickly like this, especially on a day where you're down a couple hundred points in futures and it gets worse, you might consider taking partial profits a little bit early. Anyway, make sure these stops get lower down. Of course, if you hadn't taken profits yet, make sure you do that. Zers still looks okay. Again, it's like the only stock out there that looks okay, and one of the few stocks out there that looks okay. So it's just not worth going after at this juncture. Let's just see what happens on the next reset. Let's see when the market bounces. Let's see what it provides us. Or let's see if we bottom out a little bit and see what happens. But let's take a look at the portfolio, and then we'll pop out to the overall market, obviously. First of all, CCL, nice little day there, banging out some new lows at a bit of a free fall. Looks like it's come down here and find some support at this prior trading range. JBL, nice little slide there, gap lower, and some nice follow through to the downside. Obviously, make sure you bump your stop lower on these stocks. And TPR, again, was sold off fairly hard, was down to, what's the low on this one? 63.10. I know it's still a ways away from the IPT, but again, crazy day like today, it's okay to take profits a little early. Remember that the ideal thing is to make money on the second loaf of these trades. Let's take a look at the overall market, and then really it's just ugly no matter where you look. So the P's sold off really hard on a net basis. We're down right around where we were way back in August of 24. So that's obviously pretty ugly there. Super oversold. Let's take a look at the VIX real quick. Now, you can't be a hero with the VIX, okay? But it's 50% away from the moving average, and obviously the P's are super duper oversold. So we could see a reversion to mean move, VIX down and the P's bouncing. Now that's just kind of an intraday type of thing. Don't be a hero when it comes to trading something like that. Take a look at the Nasdaq. Boy, that's ugly. Huh? Look at that, 1,000 points in the Nasdaq. Anybody here remember 1,000 points in the Nasdaq? That's 6%. Round number. So that's ugly. That looks like a free fall, and that's also super duper oversold too, obviously. I know, Captain Obvious and some of these things. Russell 2000, yep, same as it ever was, down almost 6.5%, 13 points. That's huge in the Rusty. So Rusty looks pretty ugly. All these indices obviously pointing lower for now. Copper actually got hit pretty hard, one of the few areas that's doing okay, and this is a commodity-related area, but unfortunately, it's pulled almost all the way back to where it broke out previously. So it still looks okay longer term, but just one ugly day makes it changes the picture really quickly. Gold stocks actually ended lower on the day. That's gold, the commodity, actually ended lower on the day, but did recover a bit. Gold stocks slightly lower after a bit of an opening gap reversal there. Again, I'm just not seeing a whole lot of stocks in golds to go after, and that's okay. I think there's not a huge opportunity cost, he tried to say. Big miss. Again, just throw a dart at some of these sectors. That's AI and robots banging out new lows with a big bit of vigor. Cybersecurity banging out some new lows. The list goes on and on. Transports absolutely imploded today, down over 8.5%. Jets continue to implode. They were down well over 8.5%. Too. Mag still looking pretty ugly in here, down nearly 7%. Semiconductors banging out new lows with vigor, down over 8.5%. Financials, which had been improving a little bit, got whacked today, 5%. The list goes on and on. You kind of get the idea. This retail, let's take a look at the semiconductors banging out new lows with vigor. I think I already mentioned them, but just no matter where you go, throw a dart. It's looking pretty ugly out there. All service stocks broke down with a little bit of vigor. They've been kind of wide and loose and sideways and trending lower for the most part, but then they accelerated lower today. So really, really ugly day out there. I know I'm being Captain Obvious here. So make sure you lock and load on any potential leftover shorts that you have. At least make sure you lock and load on half of the shares and then ride the rest out. And then sit tight. No need to be a hero just yet. Maybe play a little bit of an intraday bounce, but the volatility is such to where I would recommend if you did try to play the bounce, do it on such a small level. It's almost meaningless because the swings are so big. I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much.